Somewhere in America right now, a teacher is saving for retirement. A nurse, a warehouse worker, a small business owner. All of them have a 401k or an index fund. All of them made a decision, the safe decision, to let their money grow quietly in a broad market fund. And none of them know that 6 days from now, Wall Street is going to change the rules and force every single one of them to buy SpaceX. Whether they want to or not. No vote, no choice, no warning. The index providers, the organizations that control what goes inside your S&P 500 fund, your Nasdaq fund, your 401k, just waived the rules that have protected passive investors for over 2 decades. And they waived them for one company, SpaceX. Today, we are going to expose exactly what happened, who benefits, who gets hurt, and the 3 things you need to do with your retirement account before June 12th. Here is something most people do not fully understand about index funds. You do not get to choose what you own. You own whatever is in the index, automatically, without question. When a new company joins the index, your fund buys it immediately at whatever price it is trading at on rebalance day. The fund manager has no choice. They are required to buy. There is $30 trillion sitting in passive index funds in America right now. $30 trillion that must buy whatever the index tells it to buy. And on June 12th, SpaceX lists on the Nasdaq under ticker SPCX at a valuation of $1.75 trillion, losing $4.28 billion per quarter, priced at 96 times last year's revenue. And the organizations that control the indexes just changed the rules, specifically for SpaceX, to make sure your retirement money has to buy it. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is documented. This is confirmed, and it is happening in 6 days. These rules were written after retail investors got destroyed. They just got erased. For over 2 decades, getting into the S&P 500 required 2 things. First, a company had to trade publicly for at least 12 months. Second, it had to show 4 consecutive quarters of GAAP profitability. These rules were not arbitrary. They were written in the aftermath of the dot-com crash. The rules were a shield, built specifically to protect the teacher, the nurse, the warehouse worker saving quietly in their 401k. Both rules have now been waived for SpaceX, a company that has never made a GAAP profit in its entire history. The Nasdaq 100 went even further. They cut the standard seasoning window, the time a company must trade before index inclusion, from 90 days down to 5 trading days. 5 trading days. That means as early as late June, your Nasdaq index fund could be forced to buy SpaceX at whatever price the market sets, with no time to evaluate whether that price is fair. And here is who benefits from that forced buying, because the outrage only makes sense when you see who is on the other side of the trade. SpaceX insiders hold an overwhelming majority of the company's shares. In a normal IPO, insiders are locked up for 180 days after listing. They cannot sell. This protects public investors from being immediately dumped on. SpaceX chose a staggered lockup instead. Elon Musk himself, yes, has agreed not to sell for 366 days. But SpaceX's other insiders, early employees, board members, early investors, can begin selling shares as soon as the 2nd trading day after the company's first quarterly earnings report. That earnings report comes in August. That means insiders could be selling into the forced buying from passive index funds as early as August 2026. Remember that teacher, that nurse, that warehouse worker. Their retirement money flowing automatically into SpaceX through their index funds creates the demand that SpaceX insiders sell into. The Motley Fool published an article 3 hours ago with a title that said it plainly. You are the exit liquidity for the SpaceX IPO. Spot Gamma's analysis estimates conservative forced buying of $15 to $30 billion across S&P 500, Nasdaq 100, and Russell 1000 trackers in the months after inclusion. Aggressive scenarios push that number above $200 billion. $200 billion of ordinary Americans' retirement savings automatically flowing into a company losing $4 billion per quarter at a price set by Wall Street with no ability to say no. And the people who designed this system, the index providers, the bankers, the early investors, walk away with higher exit valuations and guaranteed liquidity. Because the rules that used to prevent this were just erased. Now, before this becomes a pure fear video, let's talk about what you can actually do. Because there are 3 moves, and one of them most people will not think of. Here is the honest reality first. If you hold a broad S&P 500 or Nasdaq 100 index fund, SpaceX is coming into your portfolio regardless. But your exposure, if S&P 500 inclusion happens in late 2026, will likely be around 1 to 2% of your total fund. Not catastrophic. The risk is not the exposure itself. The risk is buying more on top of that, voluntarily, because the hype made it feel like an opportunity. So here are your 3 moves. Move 1. Do not buy SpaceX IPO shares directly on June 12th. The first day of trading on a hyped IPO is almost never the best entry point. The price is set by institutions, not by fair market discovery. If SpaceX is genuinely a good long-term investment, it will still be available in September, at a price that reflects reality, not opening day hysteria. Move 2. Do not panic sell your index funds. This is the move that destroys more retirement wealth than any single bad investment. Move 3, and this is the one most people will not think of. Use this moment to check your 401k allocation, right now, today. Log into your 401k today. Check your fund options. If you are in a fund with an expense ratio above 0.2%, you are overpaying. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab all offer S&P 500 index funds at 0.02 to 0.03%. The difference compounds into tens of thousands of dollars over a career. The system changed the rules. You did not get a vote, but you do get to decide what you do next. Here is what just happened. Index providers waived 20-year-old protections, specifically for SpaceX, forcing $30 trillion in passive retirement money to buy a company losing $4 billion per quarter at 96 times revenue. Insiders can begin selling into that forced demand as early as August. The rules that existed to protect you were written after the last time this happened, and they were just erased. Your 3 moves. Do not buy on day 1. Do not panic sell your index funds. And log into your 401k today. Know what you own and check your expense ratios. The most powerful thing a retail investor can do in a system designed to exploit them is understand exactly how it works. If this video showed you something about your retirement money that nobody else explained, hit that subscribe button. Every week on First Million Club, we pull back the curtain on exactly how the financial system works, so you are never the last one to find out.